ideas, in my idea is to follow what Martin Luther King's throw and established for the movement, for the African movement, and working on that with the idea of Martin Luther King, I think that the African community will improve their condition in the United States.
Professor, in closing, can you give me your final analysis of what you think this negotiation process will lead into between now and, may say, next 10 to 15 years? What is your projection? What this process will, how this process will evolve?
Well, you know, it's not easy to make a projection. Now the United States is involved in the election process, and some of the candidates has been establishing that if they seize the presidency of the United States, that things will go back. They will end the relation between Cuba and the United States. I don't think that that will happen, but it will be harder to improve the relation, you know. And my perspective is that things will be improving because of business. Business is the main idea of what we have to work on it, because as far as business improves and there are more sales and there are more buying and there are more contact between the Cuban people and the people of the United States, it will be harder to throw things back, you know? And that's my perspective, very simple, but that's what I think. More business, more contacts, you know, and that will solve, at least will be a very strong opposition to any movement that will try to divide Cuba from the United States in the future.
Professor, in closing, you got to say something, once you said something about the release and the return of the Cuban Five. How was it that Cuba was able to sustain a battle, ensure that the Cuban Five will come back home? Because we know that 3 of the 5 participate in different liberation movements in Africa. So on behalf of the 5, can you speak just a little bit about what it took to sustain this effort to ensure that the Cuban Five return home? And on behalf of the African community and all freedom-loving people, we'd like to thank them for their contribution to Africa, the African people, and we'd like to thank Cuba for all they have done. But can you just speak a little bit about the 5 returning home?
Could you be a little bit more?
Can you speak just a little bit about the Cuban Five returning home?
The Cuban Five that came
returning home.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that was a great success for Cuba, you know, because nobody has in mind that the U.S. government are going to release them. Of course, there were 2 here that finished their sentence, that they came earlier, and we have still 3 there. But for us, as I told you, it was a success to have the possibility to bring them back to Cuba. Okay, we have to give them, but we have to give them gross, which is not a very important thing for us. You know, Gross was a CIA agent that came to Cuba, and of course, for us it was very profitable to give them a CIA agent and to receive 3 heroes. So I think that the Cuban government and the Cuban people, you know, will be very happy to have all those people here in Cuba, as we will be very happy in the day in which we will have other people here in Cuba, because we have still some people in the United States that we wish them to be released, like Ana Belén Montes, by instance. I think that in the future, Ana Belén should be released also, and other people that are in jail because they are judged, you know, as spies in the U.S. government. And as far as we make that, and we make some exchange of prisoners, I think that the relation between Cuba and the United States will be better. We don't have any people there in jail You don't have any people here in jail. Okay, let's change it. And let's improve the relation because that exchange of prisoners.
Is there anything that we have not discussed that you believe is important to share with our listening audience on the history of the relations between the U.S. and Cuba? Final thoughts.
Well, as I told you, if we're going to talk about the history of the relations between Cuba and the United States, we need 3 hours at least. You know, we were fighting against Spain, and we were going to win the war against Spain. And then they come the United States and interfere in the war of Cuba against Spain. And then we have to ask the United States for our country because they seize the country. You know, then during the whole, what we call the Republican years, you know, they were the owners of Cuba. And at the end, they support Batista. Batista kills more or less 20,000 Cubans, you know, and they were supporting Batista. There was a dictator and there was an assassin, and they don't talk about human rights during Batista. Everything that Batista has done is well, is nice, you know. So it's a long way. I think that we have to look forward instead of backward. Okay? We have been having some problems, we have been discussing, we have been having some quarrels between one and the other. Okay, let's start now. If we start now in a way in which you will accept what I'm doing, and I will accept what you are doing, I think that the relation between the two countries could be improved. And that's what Obama's administration has to do, in my opinion, as soon as possible, to eliminate anything that will harm the Cuban Revolution. If he eliminates anything that harms the Cuban Revolution, I think that relations will improve because Cuba has nothing that harms the United States. We don't have a law, we don't have a blockade, we are not supporting people that try to throw down Obama's government. Nothing like that. We are open. We want to have a friendly relation with the United States. We want to be very friend of the citizens of the United States. We want to have them here in Cuba, to have a drink with them, to have a party with them, to show them Cuba, and to finish with them like friends, very, very close friends. That's my idea of what will be the best for both countries.
Professor, on behalf of the African Awareness Association, and we'd like to thank ECAP and others for making this possible, for having an interview with you today, and we'd like to thank you. We thank you.
You're welcome.